Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to a new kind of video that I'll be doing. And I'm taking a look at some of the other videos out there and giving my response to some of them. Before I get anybody screaming or yelling in the comment section that you are a fanboy and you're doing this and that and you praise or worship Nintendo, just want to let you guys know that I also own PS4, Xbox One, gaming PC, Wii U, Nintendo 3DS, PS Vita, and I want all systems to have exclusives in order to drive their own business up. Now, these are all going to be respectful. I'm not going to go into the crumb side type of deal of bashing people and all of that, but I found this video from PlayStation Enthusiast. So this is the same brand as Nintendo Enthusiast, all of that stuff. It's all under one umbrella. I'm friends with those dudes. They're really cool. So definitely not trying to knock PlayStation Enthusiast or the person who is in this video talking about these things. But I got a few disagreements with their latest video saying that Pokemon Go is proof Nintendo should put their games on PS4 and Xbox One. No, Pokemon Go is not proof Nintendo should put their games on PS4 and Xbox One. If anything, it's proof that Nintendo should further expand into mobile and also create that synergy between mobile and their dedicated hardware in order to push their own install base and continue to drive the competitive market between Microsoft, Sony, and themselves. So let's go ahead and get right into his first thing, where he talks about this.
Hello there. From the title, you might think I'm an idiot. I mean, if you love Nintendo, the last thing you want to see is their games on other platforms. I don't really want to see Sony's games on PC. I don't really want to see Sony's games on PC. I don't really want to see Sony's games on PC, because I'm a really big PlayStation fan.
Now, I just want to say right off the bat, he says that he doesn't want to see PlayStation games on PC or other consoles, but then says, oh, well, it's okay for Nintendo games to be on other consoles. To me, that doesn't make sense, because Microsoft and Sony games could benefit from them being on other consoles as well. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the next clip of what he says here.
But what they can do is put their games on PS4 and Xbox One, and I think they'll blow up. Just like Pokemon Go just blew up because it was in the hands of the casual consumer. And casual consumers, they're holding this in their hands every day, and they're holding this in their hand almost every day. From sports games to GTA, all the casual games you can imagine. But here's the thing, if Nintendo put their games on one of, they already did on this one, blew up, one of the biggest games, if they put them on this, maybe they just might blow up the same way that Pokemon Go is blowing up right now.
So he says since that Pokemon Go blew up on mobile phones, somehow if Nintendo put their games on PS4 and Xbox One, it would have the same type of effect as far as blowing up as Pokemon Go. Now, to get the official numbers on Pokemon Go has been downloaded over 7.5 million times on iOS, over 5 million times on Android, okay? So we're totaling near 14 million or so, 13, 14 million on iOS and on Android. And if you look at the stats as far as comparable to what PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games sell, a lot of games don't sell 13, 14 million on those systems in the first few days, as in Pokemon Go as far as downloaded. So the fact that he's trying to compare the type of success that a free game on mobile phones to the same thing to what could happen on PS4 and Xbox One, sorry, that's not going to happen. Even on an install base such as the Nintendo 3DS, Pokemon on there doesn't sell as much as what Pokemon Go is going to end up doing as far as total downloads go. And the Nintendo 3DS is the home of Pokemon and has a bigger install base than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One almost combined. So no, I don't really see that, dude, as far as them just putting the game on there and it'll be the same type of success and blowing up the same type of way Pokemon Go is doing. Pokemon Go is on a mobile phone. Mobile phones, as far as the install base go, far outnumber PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Wii U combined. I'd probably even say with Nintendo 3DS in there as well. Everyone has a mobile phone. The game is free. comparing it to a paid game, like $60 game on PS4 and Xbox One, there's a lot of people that aren't going to buy that. There's a lot of people that aren't going to purchase it if it is $60, if Nintendo did put their games on there. So no, that doesn't make sense to me. Then he continues to go on and try to make the comparison between mobile and between PlayStation, which I understand. This is PlayStation Enthusiast, and I understand. He says that PlayStation has a bunch of casual consumers who play sports games, who play things like that. But once again, there is a drastic big difference between mobile install base and what mobile users are playing and consoles. 40 million is great for PlayStation, but unfortunately that does not touch the amount of mobile users. It's a pretty much said guaranteed fact that yes, if Nintendo put their games on PS4 and Xbox One, they would sell more, yes. But then again, it would also lose sight of what Nintendo wants to do with their own ecosystem, okay? Making their own products as far as their own consoles and generating the revenue that they want to generate. It's a mindshare thing, and not only that, it's ramifications of competitive console business. If Nintendo did that, that would deteriorate their own console business. People would have even less reasons to purchase a Nintendo system if there were games, exclusives, such as Pokemon and other stuff like that, on PS4 and Xbox One, which in turn would actually make things worse as far as system prices and as far as competitiveness between all of the console makers. Why would you want that?
I mean, if I turned on my PS4 and I saw a Pokemon icon, just like people who are on the internet, if they see something Pokemon, they're not really into it anymore because they're older, but they click on it on their phone, they play it. If you see Pokemon on your home screen on your PS4, you're probably going to click on it, you're probably going to buy it, and you're probably going to play it a ton. If there's one thing Nintendo can bank on, it's nostalgia, and a lot of older gamers have PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones, so if they see that stuff, they're going to definitely look into it. Just like with all the other Nintendo IPs, people are going to gravitate toward them whenever they're thrown in their face. The Wii U did not throw it in people's faces, and the 3DS, although it's very popular, doesn't really get a lot of mindshare. It seems like it's not really talked about, especially as of lately. It's only talked about in the hardest of the core gamers. I mean, not technically, because there's kids that play them because their parents buy them for them, but...
And then he talks about, oh, well, if people see Pokemon, they're not really into it because they're older, but then they see it on their home screen, all of a sudden that they would be into it? Adults? I mean, look, Pokemon Go is being played by adults. Pokemon Go is being played by kids. Pokemon Go is being played by my freaking girlfriend's parents that are almost 50 years old. Okay, near their 50s, and they're playing the game as well. What are you talking about age here, buddy? Like, age has nothing to do with it. It has more to do with the platform that it's on. And mobile is dedicated to kids and it's dedicated to parents. Everyone plays it. So your point about people being more into it because they've moved on, but it's on PlayStation, I think those users that are on PlayStation, they'd rather just play it on mobile for free if they've moved on instead of actually paying 40 bucks for it if it was on PlayStation. Then he goes on to say that the 3DS is not in the mind share for some odd reason of gamers or casuals or something, but then he also admits, oh, well, kids play it. So I'm not sure. It's sold nearly 60 million. Obviously, it's not one of Nintendo's most popular systems as far as handhelds go, but it's still out there, and Pokemon still sells millions upon millions on the Nintendo 3DS. The Xbox One has sold far less than the Nintendo 3DS, and a lot of the older adults that you claim would all of a sudden play this game often bash these type of kiddie games that Nintendo has. So exactly what are you trying to say here? Because it seems like he goes back and forth with adults. Oh, nostalgia. Oh, well, adults don't want to play this game. They grew out of it. Oh, well, no, they'll go back to it. It kind of seems like he flip-flops in his own video.
Anyway, I think if Nintendo was to release their games on the PlayStation 4 as an app, for example, the NX is an app on your PS4 or Xbox One or your PC. You open the app, and you're at the home screen of a Nintendo console. Except the Nintendo console is its own entity inside of a different company's hardware, which I think would work out perfectly.
Okay, and at this point, I don't even know. I think he might be on some type of drugs at this point. He just said, let me get this straight. He just said the NX would be an app that you download on a PlayStation or Xbox console. As soon as you open that app, it's basically directed towards like a Nintendo NX console. It's basically a whole world of the NX on an app. So it's basically like PlayStation Now. I mean, it's online only. Dude, PlayStation Enthusiast. This is where you've lost the rock here. Why would Nintendo do that? One, that would make it nearly all digital for the most part at some point. The NX would be an app. Okay, you buy games, NX games, and you put them inside the PlayStation. Why would Nintendo do that? What benefit would Nintendo have of doing that? There is literally no benefit other than Nintendo exiting the console market, okay, and making games for PlayStation and Xbox, therefore not having their own console ecosystem to collect royalties and to collect their own mindshare and revenue and push their brand with their own dedicated hardware and software. There's literally no reason to do that. That is just a bad idea. It's a horrible idea. It's probably the worst idea that I've heard for Nintendo to do in quite some time.
But the NX should be an app on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. That wasn't even where I was going with this video, but I might as well talk about it while I'm here. And Nintendo should make their games available on these consoles that already millions of people own. Should they still make their own hardware? Yeah, they can. That'd be fine. The hardest of hardcore Nintendo fans will buy that piece of hardware, just like Wii U owners did. Nintendo can still thrive as a hardware company, but only the hardest of Nintendo fans are going to buy those pieces of hardware.
He goes on to say that Nintendo should continue making their own hardware, but they should make games on PS4 and Xbox One. So really, what's the benefit of Nintendo doing that? If Nintendo puts their games on PS4 and Xbox One, that gives people less of a reason, like I've talked about, to purchase their own system. Why would Nintendo do that? That does not make sense. That is not good for Nintendo's business. In order to play Nintendo games, you have to purchase a Nintendo system. That's what has worked for Nintendo. The issue has been lately, in which he uses Wii U as a crutch to support his argument. He says that, oh, well, people didn't buy the Wii U. Well, if Nintendo shores up things, and if they make a better system, which I think that they're doing with the Nintendo NX, which is a home console, Nintendo can sell a lot more consoles. Nintendo can be far more competitive in the market, and that's what gamers want. And everything like that, make sure that there's 3 console manufacturers that are all putting out exclusive games and are all trying to drive business to their systems. Unfortunately, doing your whole plan doesn't do that. That makes there no reason to buy a Nintendo system and more reason to buy a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One for Nintendo. And if Nintendo needs to do that, then Microsoft and Sony also needs to do that in order to make their franchises bigger, because Nintendo fans still would love to play stuff like Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter and Battletoads and IPs that Microsoft and Sony have. I'm not sure why Nintendo's the only company that needs to make their games for their systems, but these other console manufacturers don't.
Nintendo basically already went third party whenever they released their first game on this right here. So what is the difference, honestly? I know you're a Nintendo fan. I know you clicked on this because you probably wanted to see how much of an idiot I am. But if you don't mind playing a Nintendo game on this device right here, what seriously is the difference playing it on this?
No, Nintendo didn't already go third party when they released their first game on a smartphone. Mobile and smartphone is not the same thing as dedicated console business. That's like saying Microsoft went third party for releasing on PC, or that Microsoft went third party for releasing on mobile, which they release games, or like Sony went third party when they were releasing on any other platform like mobile, like they've done before. No, that does not make sense. As far as third party, first party sales go, we all know that that's dedicated consoles for the most part. As far as first party games, Nintendo did not go third party when they released Miitomo on there. They pretty much released an app. They released an app on a mobile device, which is not the same as releasing their games on competing hardware, as a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. He's trying to soften the blow of what he's trying to say, but the reality is that no, it's not the same thing. And then he goes on to say that what's the difference between playing it on a mobile phone compared to playing it on a PlayStation console? That's not the point as far as what Nintendo fans want or Nintendo fans think, or even people that are just in the industry and want there to be competition. The difference is this, is that those mobile devices and those mobile things are tools in order to push people to purchase Nintendo's dedicated systems, okay? Putting it on, which Nintendo has already stated, putting it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, that does not give them tools or motivation to push to buy a dedicated system. That just gives them motivation to just continue playing it on there and not buying Nintendo system. It contradicts. That's the problem. You're saying that they can thrive, but then again, oh, well, no exclusive games. No, that doesn't work well.
Yes, has a Sony logo on it. Who gives a crap? Don't be such a fanboy. That's all I'm saying. Or be a fanboy of every company. Be a fanboy of video games. Because video games are awesome.
He goes on to say, don't be a fanboy. So let me get this straight. If a Nintendo fan wants their exclusives to stay exclusive so people can purchase that system, they're a fanboy? But you just said that you wouldn't want, at the beginning of the video, he just said that he wouldn't want PlayStation games on other consoles or on PC.
I don't really want to see Sony's games on PC.
So how about you don't be a fanboy? This guy, this guy is a hypocrite at this point. Bruh.
I just want Nintendo to make the smart decision. Make the NX its own piece of hardware. You can still do that. Nintendo fans can still love it. But also make those games available as an app on my PlayStation 4. Doesn't have to be connected to any of the network with PSN, Xbox One. It can exist as its own thing and just rely on those pieces of hardware to play their games.
That's not the smart decision to do, okay? Just to let you know. That's not the smart decision to do. And I don't think you're much of a business major. Because if you were, you wouldn't say, yeah, you know what, Nintendo? Make all your exclusive games for other systems as an app. As an app. For the PlayStation 4. Nintendo NX, for the most part, might have completely different specifications. Might have completely different or enhanced graphics over PlayStation 4. Nintendo might be like, we want to design our games for this system. Why would they try to shoehorn in PlayStation 4 compatibility at some point when it's not even their system? And also Xbox compatibility. So they have to make a system and games that are compatible across PlayStation, Xbox, and on Nintendo systems, Nintendo NX. So therefore, they have to make some type of baseline game. And if Nintendo NX is stronger than PlayStation 4, they'd have to make cuts or sacrifices or do something to try to shoehorn in that. Not only from a technical standpoint, is that just a cluster F? But that's just stupid from a marketing and business standpoint. It's horrible from a marketing business standpoint, and it's horrible from a competitive standpoint. And to me, the ramifications of that, as far as competitiveness within console sales, would take a big hit. The goal for Nintendo has always been to drive their console sales with exclusive, awesome software. When you put that software on other systems, such as dedicated platforms, that diminishes the value of their own system. For example, if Nintendo were to put Pokemon and various other 3DS exclusives on the PS Vita, Nintendo 3DS probably would have sold less and wouldn't have been as dominant in the marketplace. That's the type of effect that Nintendo's trying to have with the console. They just ran into a little roadblock with the Wii U. Now that doesn't mean that Nintendo NX can't have the same effect that Nintendo 3DS had as far as getting users to purchase their system for the exclusive games and also for third-party titles as well.
Nothing else. So yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble. I don't even know what I'm going to name this video because I talked about so much different stuff. But I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, don't be a fanboy.
Then he says that he rambled on, which yes he did, and then he continues once again and says, don't be a fanboy, because I want games on my system of preference, or my system of choices, but then again, I wouldn't want to see other games like PlayStation exclusives, once again, on other systems.
I don't really want to see Sony's games on PC.
He really does not prove much with what he's trying to say. He does not give any evidence other than Pokemon Go is, oh, well, that's really successful, right? So that means Microsoft and Sony would be very successful with the same type of thing. No, there's no evidence of that. And then again, it degrades Nintendo's own console business that they want to be effective in. You have to realize that, which this person is definitely not. So, I'll leave a link to this video in the description below. Make sure you check it out if you want to see the full thing. There's a lot of rambling that I did cut out, so if you want to go and listen to all that. Alright guys, that wraps up this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything on the Nintendo NX or Nintendo NX app. I'm joking. Peace out, guys.